Happy New Year. I know. We're a month into the year, but I thought I would make a video of all of my moments of January. And what this did was it gave me an opportunity to learn a new software, which is CapCut, learn how to put pieces together, layer them with music, put everything in order, and create a whole big video. So I'm pretty proud of myself, if I'm honest. Pretty proud of myself. So for next month, my goal is to learn how to do voiceover throughout the video in the appropriate spots. So yeah, so I thank you for joining me. Welcome back, or welcome to Curiosity Chronicles. My name is Avril, and I just talk about things that I find curious, and I thought I would, just do a recap of each month, and maybe this will turn into a weekly thing. We'll see how it goes. I don't have the most exciting life these days. It's winter, we're cooped up. So maybe in the summer, weekly videos would be more appropriate. But for now, we're just gonna take it by the month. And we started with a really snowy weekend. The 2nd of January, we had a big storm. And because I'm a minister, I actually had to go out and do a funeral. So I was out in the weather that day, and it was really sad because a lot of people didn't show up. A lot of people canceled at the last minute, which I thought was really sad. And, as much as I would say don't risk your life driving in the weather, but at the same time, often we only get one chance to say goodbye. So there's balance in there. There's balance. I started a new book, and I thought I would read a little bit of it to you because there were a couple things that really stuck out for me, things that we're seeing a lot, and this sort of speaks to the underlying cause. And the book is The Everyday Hero Manifesto by Sharma. He wrote The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari and the 5 a.m. Club and all kinds of self-help and personal development books. So I grabbed this one and finally got to read it. I used January to get that done. And here's a segment from a chapter on, the chapter's called The 7 Threats to World Class. And this is the threat of energetic diversion. As you travel in the stratosphere of rare air, you'll face enthusiastic attacks from jealous critics and angry trolls who were activated by seeing you soar to such heights. Your success triggers their pain at seeing their own potential unfulfilled and excites their self-loathing on not delivering on their own dreams. If you're not careful, these people will steal your energy. And later on in the book, he has a section all about trolls. And not the ones that live under the bridges, but the people who show up in our lives. Who like to dump all their shiz on us. Beneath attack is pain. The campaign of critic is fueled by their lack of self-love and personal appreciation. Naysayers are mostly disappointed souls who didn't do what you've done. So it makes them feel better lashing out at you. Misery always seeks company. People treat others the way they treat themselves. And human beings experiencing a lot of hurt often hurt other human beings. Some food for thought as we start the year. On the first Saturday of January, the first Saturday of 2025, we joined a whole bunch of people in a town about 45 minutes north of us. We did drive through all that snow. Those driving videos, that was us driving through the snow. And my son is involved in a sword fighting group, and They do historical reenactment, sword fighting, different martial arts kinds of things with swords and bangy sticks and things like that. And they have a location about an hour from here where they host events, the Medieval Festival, Dungeons and Dragons Festival, things like that. And each week they have practices in different locations. And my son's been practicing with them for a number of years now. He's almost 17, so he was just a boy when he started, and now he's very close to driving himself to practice. And every year, the first weekend of January, they have a party, and it is the guy who runs it. His name's Harry. It's his birthday that weekend. It's always at the start of January. So, yeah, I guess his birthday is always at the start of January, but the event is always at the start of January. And everybody's invited, everybody involved, whether it's the fighters, the actors, the participants, the family members, because it really, truly is a big family. And we go every year, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. And they do such a beautiful job of decorating and setting the table. And this year we did potluck, which made it actually a lot easier for everybody, because it wasn't all put on one person and then the rest of us weren't kind of feeling like, well, what do we do? So everybody brought something to eat and share. And we sat around the table and we had a beautiful meal of all different kinds of things. There's nothing better than a potluck meal because you just never know what you're going to get, right? And then I ended up having a really long conversation with Ed Greenwood. And for those of you who don't know who he is in fact one of the most famous authors in the world. Anybody who knows Dungeons and Dragons, or D&D as we call it, would know Ed Greenwood. And it is amazing how many people are so jealous when they find out that I know Ed Greenwood. And he actually works in the library in my town. He doesn't live in my town. He lives just outside, but I can go see him anytime I want. And so when we were at the event and we were waiting for everyone to arrive and sit down for dinner, we were just having the most wonderful conversation, and he was telling us about his experiences, writing for movies and actually being part of the production team for movies, because they would be, looking for historical accuracy and fantasy accuracy as well. And so he helps them make sure that everything makes sense in their movies. Plus he writes his own books all about the realm. And it's just a lot of fun, really. And so when we all sat down to dinner, he came and sat down next to me, and we had a blast. We were just having such a good time, laughing and telling stories, and everybody's chatting with each other about all kinds of different things. And one of the neat things that they do, which I would not tolerate in many other settings, is we all go around the table and we say who we are and how we're connected to the group, because sometimes we don't always cross paths with everybody and we're like, who are you? And so we all stand up and we say, because most of us have a role in some fashion. So my son does some fighting, he'll get better and he'll be doing more and more of that. But as a bagpiper, he's also the piper for the realm as well. And so he pipes in the parade with them, like the St. Patrick's Day parade. He pipes at their events, and when there's the big medieval festival and the fighters are all there going into the ring, he pipes them all in, and he just has a blast with that. And plus he has a popcorn company, so he'll sometimes pop up and sell popcorn. And then I get to pop up with my own little pop-up shop from my business, which is a whole other YouTube channel, but I get to pop up there, and I've actually been invited to attend events as one of the performers, and like even a year ago did a big corporate event, and it was a lot of fun. It was really neat. It was really neat to see that in a working environment. So they do school trips up there to their realm, and they do like the schools come in, do the educational programming, because it is historical. And then at Halloween, they have their Medieval Macabre event, which is a tour around the grounds, and there's little scenes playing out. And of course, education. The whole point is education. So that was an awful lot of fun. And I've included a lot of footage in this video today showing you the building where we have this event. And that's where they have their Sunday practices. And it's a pretty impressive place. And it would probably make a nice place for a wedding too. So if you're thinking about getting married and need a minister in the Peterborough area, let me know. Because we might be able to make that happen. So it was just a really beautiful afternoon with everybody. Everybody pitches in to set up, everybody pitches in to clean up, and we just have a nice time socializing. No one's in any great rush. There's loads of photos, there's loads of videos and music playing, and well, it's medieval music, but of course. So yeah, it's really nice. And I always say it's the island of misfit toys because, you know, my son is a bit of a nerd, and that's okay. That's a good thing. But he was really having a hard time finding his place in the world. And I have said that to the guy, Harry, who runs all of this. And I said, I'm so glad we found this because, you know, I was really worried that he would never have any friends. He would never find his place to be and his interests. And he said to me, Harry did, a lot of people tell me that. So it's a great place. So we have a lot of gratitude for them. It's called Blades of Glory. And it's a wonderful group of people. And we all just have a really good time. The building where we had the sword fighting Christmas party, birthday party event, potluck, it's a place called the Mount. And I believe it was once an old church. And it is just the most gorgeous building. It's so unassuming from the outside. The very first time I went there and I walked up and I thought, why are people making such a big deal of this? And as soon as I got inside, I was like, oh, I get it now. I get it. It's such a gorgeous building. The architecture, the floors, there's still some pews in there. And it's just a great space for parties and events. And of course, they have sword fighting practice. They have D&D tournaments there. There's all kinds of things that this particular group does. And of course, the building can be rented for all kinds of other events. So I couldn't resist taking lots of video of the building. It is just so spectacular. And as a medieval group, it's the perfect location for our parties. I met my friend Caitlin for lunch one day this month, and I think it was the only time I left my house for any social reasons. Yeah, we had a very snowy January, and it was cold, and I didn't really feel like going out very much, but we managed to get out on a beautiful sunny day, and we sat in a cafe and just chatted for hours, and we had a lovely lunch. It's so rare to find a place that's really good at cooking eggs, and yeah, this omelet was really, really good. Really, really good. And so we had a really deep heart-to-heart about friendships and relationships and how we experience them. And we find that we're very similar in being quite misunderstood. And people just, for some reason, just dislike us and never say really why. And I've actually flat out asked people, and they can't even tell me why. I've actually had people say, I don't know, I just know. And I'm like, okay, but it's nothing I've done. You know, it's nothing I've said. It's nothing I've done. And she's had the same experience where people just take one look at her and don't like her. And this girl is beautiful. She was an international model. I don't even like standing next to her, let's be honest, because she's tall and gorgeous and I'm short like a little teapot. But she's such a sweet person. And I just love spending time with her. I love the connection that we have. I love the conversations that we have. We never have conversations about the weather. One of the last conversations we had was about the UFOs. and what we think the aliens will look like. So yeah, yeah. And we've had our struggles, and it was good to talk about them. It was good to connect in that way and talk about the things we're both experiencing. Because when we share how we're feeling, we often find that there's other people who feel the same way. Hopefully, of course, you're sharing with someone who's compassionate and not going to weaponize what you're saying. But when she started talking about all the things that I feel, there were some tears and hugs, and we held hands and we made a pact that we're going to talk on the phone every day. And we've been pretty good about that, actually. I haven't had phone conversations with people in years, because I found that growing up, we talked to everybody on the phone all the time. It was the only way to talk to people, except knocking on their door and hoping they were home. But for some reason, we've stopped doing that as a society. And I feel like we've lost something. I really do. I feel like we've lost some connection. There's people who say they're my friend, but they know nothing about me because they never have conversations, just rambling, meandering conversations about anything. So we made the commitment that we are going to talk to each other on the phone every day. Well, through the week, because weekends are busy, but through the week. And we've been pretty good. We've managed to do that. I think this week we missed a couple days simply because it's been snow days and she's got younger children, so she's busy with them and then trying to catch up with things. So we definitely have a phone call booked for tonight and we're going to catch up. And we just talk about our day. Like, what do you have planned today? What did you do yesterday? We each have a business and that we're both working on and trying to really get going and out there in the world. So we share ideas. She got me onto TikTok. Oh, I don't love it. But then I was also teaching her about Trello and CapCut and things like that to help her stay organized. So we share these ideas with people, and she's about 20 years younger than me. So she's got like a different view of the world because she would have grown up with internet all the time, whereas I didn't. So I was in my 20s when we got internet. So I've lived more than half my life with internet now, but it's interesting to hear someone young talk about these things, TikTok. And she got me going with a Google page, a Google listing for my website. I can't even remember, for my business, a Google listing. And so I never would have thought to do that, but she's like, yeah, get it done. And then she told me like how to do it, because I was like, how am I going to get reviews? And she's like, oh, just take all the reviews you already have and then make little graphics of them and pop them into the pictures on your Google page. And you're already ahead of the game on reviews. How smart is that? So we had a wonderful time. It was so nice to connect. And then the connection that has kept going, because I find a lot of times I'll have dinner with somebody or lunch with someone, and then it'll be months before we even speak again. So keeping this connection is going. And I'm actually going to start proposing that to other people. Like, let's talk on the phone, even if it's for 20 minutes, just to catch up, just to connect, to hear another voice, to be in that energy. I think it's really healing, and I think it's good for the soul. So let me know. What do you think? Would you start making phone calls? Would you propose to a friend, why don't we talk on the phone instead of just texting? Let me know. I've already talked about my son, the Piper, but I'm a very proud mom. And this year, for the second year in a row, he piped at a Burns night in our town. And he was offered the opportunity to pipe in the haggis all by himself. And so he took that opportunity and he did that. And I've got the whole video here. It's only a couple minutes long if you'd like to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy bagpipes, you can just skip forward. It's all good. I don't mind. But it was a wonderful evening for my husband and my son and my husband's father. I just get everyone settled and I leave and go home and spend a quiet evening at home. for a variety of reasons that it's not always comfortable being out and about. So, but I got lots of videos and photos sent to me throughout the evening, and this is my son piping in the haggis. And of course, being a Piper mom, I couldn't just do nothing for him. I had to make sure that he had something to give out. When we're at the Highland Games all summer, he has these little cello bags that I filled with his card and stickers and decals and things like that, that he gives out to people when he meets them. I'm always amazed that when we travel all over the place, he's recognized, because he does have quite a big following on Facebook. I made a page for him a couple years ago, and when he was just starting out, and so he's gone from really sucking to winning medals and being invited to perform at really important events. And so I always like to have something for him to hand out to people. So I ordered in ribbon, tartan ribbon. So this particular ribbon that I ordered, and I've got a tiny little video of it, is the Flower of Scotland tartan. And so I ordered that in, and I sat and I made 50 little bows, tied them all up, and then I put pins on the back of them. And I just ordered everything from Amazon. It was easy. Just remember, it was January. I wasn't leaving my house. So I had to order it all on Amazon. And the ribbon was shipped from Scotland. And then I printed up the cards for him. So those are the cards that he uses when we go to campgrounds. We have an RV, so when we're traveling around for the games, we're often in campgrounds where he practices at night. All the children will come running, adults will come running, and sometimes people will pay him to come to their campsite and pipe for them. And so the little cards that I put onto the bows are the same style cards he gives out, but these ones say, "We're all Scottish tonight." So I had a little basket of them, and he got to give them out at Burns night, and everybody was thrilled with them. They were just so excited to get a little piece of tartan to wear on Burns night, whether they were Scottish or not. And the next day, a woman actually posted a photo saying that she was still wearing hers. So I thought that was really sweet. So there you have it for January. It's been a quiet month, but that's okay. I got a lot of stuff done in my business and made lots of plans for the house and our family and everything we want to accomplish over the next few months. Lots of bagpiping, lots of writing, lots of posting and creating graphics and things like that for the business and moving forward. So it's just been a really relaxing but productive month. How about you? How was your January? Did you make big plans for 2025? Did you set goals? Did you write resolutions? Or did you do what I did, which is I just wrote a bucket list? That was it. And then as I complete all the things on my bucket list, which is very long, so I won't complete them all, but as I complete them, I'll check them off. And the ones I don't complete, I'll just move to next year and then add some more. So I'm not putting myself under a tremendous amount of pressure So at the end of the year, I'm actually not going to feel bad about myself. I'm not going to feel like I failed myself. I'm not going to feel like I disappointed myself. I just wanted to have a fun year. So the videos, that's part of it. That is part of it. Learning how to edit videos, learning how to be a vlogger, which is very different from my other channel. And I just wanted to have some fun this year. I just wanted to have adventures and do things that I maybe have been reluctant to do because I didn't want to do them alone. And now I have Caitlin, which is a lot of fun. She's been a great pal. And we've got plans for all kinds of little adventures. And she's so wonderful in that she doesn't need to check her book and then make you wait 6 months for an answer. She just says, yeah, let's pick a date right now and let's go. And I know she's going to come. She doesn't cancel. She's not the kind of person who cancels. So it's actually been a really wonderful experience to hang out with her for the last year or so and get to know her and then deepen our friendship by talking almost every single day on the phone. So that's really nice. So it was a really nice January. And I'd love to hear about yours. Let me know how it went. Let me know about your goals for this year. And let me know what you have planned for February, because I have all kinds of things planned. It's going to be a fun month, that's for sure. Stay curious, my friends.